What up, Raider Nation? How you doing? This is Coach Gravy on Raider Nation Live podcast. We're here Wednesday, 7 o'clock on the PM. Hope everybody had a wonderful day, whatever it was you was doing. And I hope that you guys have a great evening what's going to come. Gabe is going to be coming in a little bit. We got Mr. Lowe. He's got some things to do tonight, and we'll just keep him in the rip and see if we can come on. He can come on, but I'm pretty sure he's busy. He's gonna be getting into some things, and that's his role. He's gonna be doing some big things, so he'll be coming back on the quick. But just wanted to say what's up, man. Tell everybody what's going on. How is everybody? Gonna go through what we've been through and an ongoing thing that we've been doing as far as free agency is concerned, and as far as what we think we're gonna be doing in the draft. Well, my view and how we feel about who we picked up, and kind of like where we left off. Kind of got used to what we inherited already. So it's just up to you guys to see if you want to be familiar with you're familiar with the show. This show is powered by Raider Nation Live. Raider Nation Live is me, myself, Coach Gravy. What up, Low? That's Low, and Raider Gay 420, my other partner that should be in here shortly. He's getting off work right now, and he has what he told me, he had a long way to travel, and the LA traffic during this time, I guess, is not real good. So, see, Raider Pete, all right, bud. I got a little bit of guys watching me. I just did this show on the quick. We usually schedule it on Wednesday, but people got a lot of during the off season. My guys are doing different things, so people will start seeing that I'm on, and we can get to what we're looking at here as far as you guys' comments and stuff, and then I'll get to the chat a little bit later when people start coming in. But remember, sub to Raider Nation Live, sub to Coach Gravy. What up, Low? Low is Raider Nation Live, but he's it's all three of us, the show, and Raider Game, man, 420. And we're going to get started going. I'm going to start doing these Monday shows. I mean, the morning shows at 10 o'clock starting tomorrow. So you'll see one this evening set up by me. I got a little time to come up, but future notice, I'm going to be away again for a little bit. Got another little procedure that I have to take care of after my transplant. I'm 4 months into my transplant. I'm doing very good. I feel good. You guys notice that. I got a lot of energy. I got a lot of. It's good being it's good being the way I am now. I feel much better. I feel like a young man. So if there's anybody that if there's anything that could be different, but we'll go on from there. Hey, perfect timing from my man. How you doing, Gabe? What's up, buddy?
Chilling.
Hey, were you one of them a million people over there at Dodger Stadium trying to get an Otani bobblehead?
Oh, today?
You didn't see
No,
that? You see?
not today.
Not today. They have another one, or what? You gonna get one?
No. I'm not going today. My cousin has season tickets. He went.
Oh, really? Is
Yeah.
that the only way you could get one, or just anybody could go get one?
No, well, you have to have a ticket, and it's only I think it fits like the stadium fits 58,000 or 56,000. So
Oh, there was a game today.
yeah, so like
Oh,
you
okay.
have to. It's the first. If I'm not mistaken, it's the first 40,000 or the first. I think it's like the first 40,000 get the bobblehead.
They've been out there since this morning, bro.
And so 15,000 people are gonna be shit out of luck.
They probably pick it up on eBay or something for a grip of money. I think
Yeah.
they'll have another day. They have another day for that.
Yeah, but this one was I think this one was the 50
Limited
50 one.
edition.
Yeah, the 50-50 one or something like that. Where he did
Limited
he's
edition.
a part of the 50-50 club or something like that.
Well, I heard they undefeated, so they're on a good start, huh?
They are, but I think they're losing right now though.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you'll
They're
be in touch
losing
with
right
that.
now.
I'm
It's
sure
5-3,
people.
but it's 5-3, but they barely the bottom of the fifth, and right now they have two guys on no out. So
Hey, the chat. Let Gabe know. He's probably looking out on his phone though, but let him know that the Dodgers are getting beat. But it's early in the
5-3.
season.
5-3.
All right. Hey, we'll get to the chat, Gabe, real quick. My opinion. What's up? How you doing, bud? Raider P, what's going on? Raider Paul, Raiders with the big Raiders. Young DB94, what's up? I'll get to your question in a little bit, bro. My 2 cents, what's going on? And we the people. A little bit showing up. Here we go. Raider Paul again. Salute, Raider Paul. How you doing? We got my opinion right here that we are 6.5 over under thoughts. Is that wins that they put on us for Las Vegas, Gabe? That's what it looks like. That's what it looks like my opinion is saying right there. 6.5. What you got, a monkey bite?
No, I think that's what I'm looking at it right now on the fucking thing. It's where I got shot with the paintball.
Oh, okay. Oh, you did all that, huh?
Yeah.
You got shot right in the neck or the throat?
Yeah.
Who got you there?
I don't even know. But I just didn't pop, so I didn't really go out of the game. But yeah, it was stinging for a little bit.
What you think about that 6.5 over and under Raiders to win? That's 2 more games, 2.5 games, 6.5 over and under. I guess it's for the wins for the Raiders for this season. 6.5.
I mean, without the draft and all that so far, it seems about right. You know what I mean? Because of the last year's struggles and shit like that. So I think they still need to see what other pieces they add to it, especially because they still have money available through their tech. So I think there's expected moves still. Probably not big time moves, but I think there's still expected moves, and especially because of the draft. Who knows, man? They get Ashton Genty or something like that. Those numbers could go up a win or two. You know what I mean? So 7.5 ain't bad. You know what I mean? If it's 7.5 is the over under, or 8, even at 8, whatever that, if it could jump up to that wouldn't be bad. You know what I mean? Because I think that's just like the betting. You know what I mean? That's where it starts at. So the possibilities can be. You know what I mean? If you're at 8, you know what I mean? I think the possibilities are you're one of those fringe playoff type teams. You know what I mean? If you're over under is type of like 8 wins, because if you have things go your way, shit, and you exceed by a little bit, 9 wins sometimes gets you in the playoffs. You know what I mean? I know it's still difficult to get in with 9 wins, but can still get you in. You know what I mean? But 6.5, it seems about right.
I think we
right
might
now.
be a game or two over that. Just Gino alone and Pete Carroll alone. I think we might be about 2 more games, maybe 8 wins. That's giving it to him too. We're not gonna.
So
We're
if
gonna
you bet
be.
the over right now, if you bet the over right now, which is the Raiders at the minimal at least have to win 7 games, which that's what I'm saying. It sounds about right if you bet the over. If you're optimistic about the team, if you feel like you're gonna get over 7 wins, that's. I mean, that doesn't sound too bad, especially because I've been at the bottom. You know what I mean for last, and then our division. I think it's tough, and then it's just the only thing is that Vegas isn't that off too many times, dog. So 6.5. Hopefully that number goes up. Hopefully that fucking number goes up for sure. Because they ain't too far off too much. Because remember last year we were complaining. What did they say? We were the over under for us last year was like 6 or something like that.
Same. I think it was the same or 5 or something like that.
Like, yeah, so that's why I was like, they weren't too far off. You know what I mean? And it's just that's why I'm saying like Vegas has been doing this for years and years and years, dog. So like they're never gonna be too far off. You know what I mean? Unless there's a team that's just super overachieves or something like that, which hopefully that could be us, but hopefully that number could go up after the draft.
Raider Paul's very confident. We get Genty and we're gonna go 11-6. That's a big up number. I like the confidence though, Raider Paul. We'll keep it with you, man. I dig that. I dig your confidence. Here we go, Raider Paul again. You see Gino with them 45-pound weight on his neck doing pull-ups. That don't impress me, man. I want to see him throwing. I want to see a contract sign with him. That's what I want to see. He can lift weights all he wants, but we've seen that before with players. We see Tyree Wilson do it. We see Zeus do it, and they don't amount to shit. So big. He's probably a good sized dude, but I want to see completions. I want to see yards. I want to see touchdown, red zone efficiency. That's the main thing with me with Gino. Once he starts playing, I want to see him. I want to see him in the red zone because he's good at that, and I hope that he does better with that. But we will soon find out. But as soon as we get in the training camp, mini camp, you got to be there. Well, what's up, Yerps? Raiders podcast. What's going on, man? How you doing? What's goody?
It's crazy how a fucking day after we talked about that shit on Wednesday too. Like, I mean, the other day, the fucking news came out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, the Raiders are working on the fucking. I know it wasn't because of us, you know what I mean, or anything like that. I'm not even fucking trying to say anything like that. I'm just saying it's just kind of weird because I'm pretty sure a lot of people are talking about it. You know what I mean? That it seems kind of weird with, you know what I mean, Gino not signing it and shit like that because. I don't know. They must be hearing the nation. They must be hearing just from everywhere. You know what I mean? Because that's just weird. It's just a weird situation where I don't understand why he hasn't signed. Is like because they obviously said it in that thing. Like, yeah, they're working on it and all of the numbers and all that stuff, but they haven't came to an agreement because I'm pretty sure Gino's looking for more, and the Raiders are probably. It's either Gino's looking for more or the Raiders are not willing to go as many years as he wants. I think it's one of those 2 reasons. That could only be those are the only 2 reasons I could see. Either he's not agreeing on the money, or the Raiders are not willing to give him the years that he wants. Maybe he does want that money, but he wants it for more money, more time. You know what I mean? Because it's just
there's not really a rush on it though. You know, it doesn't have to be done right now. You know, they can still. We're getting. I was wondering it because I thought it was.
It doesn't have to be done. It's just weird.
Yeah, the extension, and you brought up the news conference that he ain't even been introduced to the Raiders at all, and he has this year that he needs to play on, so he's our quarterback. You know what I mean? He's under contract for a year, but I don't know why there wasn't. You know, that's a big deal for us. You know, to meet the guy and see how he is, how he feels about. That's what I'm concerned with. It. How does he feel about playing with the Raiders? Is this gonna mess him up? Is this gonna be a bad thing that goes on? Is this gonna be detriment to him in his play? You know, Raider Paul said that. You know, he's lifting weights or whatever. You know, taking pictures of lifting weights, dude. That's all fine and dandy.
That should
That
be
ain't
every
shit to
single
me.
person. That should be every single person in the
Every person
NFL
should
right
be
now.
doing that, bro. Yeah.
Every single person in the NFL should be doing that right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he lifting weights, bro. That you jack up to that. I don't know, but I think we'll be good with them. You know, we'll get it done. They can't make the move and not get it done, or they're just gonna let him go next year. But he ain't gonna be happy. You know what I mean? And that's a detriment to the team if he's not feeling good out there. You got to make him feel good. You got to make your quarterback be nice, dude. They don't got nothing else to think about but football. That's what I don't want it to be a distraction. And we're making it kind of one, but it's probably really nothing. I already got my head wrapped around it. That's it. So
I think it has to do with because they're still not. I think they're still going to be willing to take a quarterback if it's there. You know what I mean? If it's there for the taking, they're still going to be willing to take a quarterback, which I don't think that's what I don't think. I think that's why there's no rush to this because the Raiders want to see what they can get in the draft too. You know what I mean? Because I don't think they want to basically commit to Geno for too long if they're going to have if they're going to be able to pick their quarterback of the future in less than a month. You know what I mean? So I think that's what the no rush is for. You know what I mean? So like if they're not able to hit just like last year, you know what I mean? The situation from last year, then maybe they do give them an extra year or two or a couple extra, mil on top of that or a couple extra guaranteed dollars. So it's going to be for sure, man. It's just something to watch out for if we come out with the quarterback during the draft because I think that's going to affect Geno's deal big time.
and what if it does? Then what's the option? He's still on our team. He still has to play.
He has to play 1 year regardless.
It would be just our luck, bro. If some bullshit like that happened, I'll be pissed because you don't have a quarterback that's in it, and we're just doing it over money. And then I just don't want to be one of these cheap ass teams. You know what I mean? That and then me and you already said that's what we're doing, and then seeing what Devin White got today makes me. I looked at it and I looked at him. You know, he getting paid real. That's dirty money, but he deserves it because he didn't play well. He got cut by two teams, since Tampa Bay, and two really good teams. And Philly didn't play. Philly didn't play in Houston, and their coach is a linebacker, bro. Their coach was a linebacker, and Devin White was a really good, with Tampa, and then just shot straight down. What guy are we gonna get? You think, Gabe? I hope we get the old Devin White, but I don't want to get the one in Philly or the one in Houston. That guy rarely played, got injured.
I think they're gonna be. I think in Houston and in Philly, I think he's lower on the depth chart. You know what I mean? I think and because those are, like you said, good teams. You know what I mean? I think they have established linebackers. In those systems. You know what I mean? Like so. I think that it's you'll get better statistically out of Devin White this year for sure, just because he's gonna have more chances, just because that's how it's looking. You know what I mean, with the depth at linebacker right now. So he'll probably have better statistically. But the real question is, are we going to be able to? Has he lost a step? You know what I mean? Has he? And I'm pretty sure he has. It's just that can he be anything like? As long as he's better than Diablo, to be honest, you know what I mean? Because that's the real test right there, man. Because man, Diablo was. We've had bad play at the linebacker position, so I think we don't. He doesn't. I don't think he has to ball out to like have like people to be like on his side for this year or whatever, like to like say, oh, that was a good signing, because especially for the money, you know what I mean? People are always gonna look at the money. They're gonna be like, so as long as he can be, to be honest, serviceable at this point, dog, because I think we are going to address the linebacking position in the draft. I know he's still young, but it's just like, damn, bro. He's already been in the league. What, he got drafted the same year Klee got drafted. So that was what, 5 years ago. About his fifth, sixth year.
He's in the number one pick, so they didn't pick him up on his option, and he went to two teams on his last year. He was on two teams last year.
I don't know if it was
last
year, but I know that he got drafted like 6 years ago. When Klee got drafted, he literally got drafted that same draft, and he pretty much tweeted that same draft. That, you know what I mean? Like,
people said 6 years ago.
Yeah. The Raiders passed him up, you know what I mean? And he was taking one pick after us. You know, he was taking one pick after, and we took Cleveland Flero.
I remember me wanting Devin White, too. I remember me saying, get Devin White. Yeah. And we ended up with that dude. And I'm pretty sure that mistake, Clee was a good run stopper at the end of the day, but he wasn't what everybody thought.
I just think Devin White, I think that he just needed to get into a system that they're going to allow him to play. You know what I mean? Like he was allowed to play like in Tampa. You know what I mean? I think his last two stops were, like I said, I think established spots where it was hard for him to get into getting any playing time, especially because I do think that he's not the same Devin White from Tampa, but it's kind of hard too when you're already kind of, you know what I mean? You're getting that stigma from from outside, like saying that like, you know, he's lost a step. So I think when the other team like Philly or with Houston, you know what I mean? He's already has that kind of coming in. He already has that kind of like that label on him that, you know, he's lost a step. You know what I mean? Because that's why he kind of got let go at Tampa, and those places already kind of have, you know, some good linebackers Bond over there in Philly. You know what I mean? You got some pretty good linebackers out there. So it's like, I just think that it's he was never really given a good chance. You know what I mean? To play out there. I know he played a little bit with Houston, but I just think that this year, I'm not saying that he's going to be all pro or Pro Bowl or anything like that. I just think that he will get more playing time, which will allow him to, you know, just get into the groove of things more, because you know how it is, bro. Like it's one thing I will agree with AP last year is that one thing that Tyree needed the most is reps. You need reps out there. You need to feel that shit. You know, every Sunday and shit like that. You can't just be, you know, going from place to place and then, you know, and then you're learning a system here, and then you're barely getting any playing time, and then you get traded again, barely getting any playing time, learning another system. So it's like you're stuck kind of like in no man's land type of shit. You know what I mean? Where you're trying to move, you're maneuvering yourself to like trying to get any play time. But I think this time signing in the off season, where a team that's really, really linebacker needy in us, you know what I mean? I think it's going to allow him to get a lot more playing time, which I think will allow him to play better. Will it be the guy we need? I don't know about that like yet, but I do like his history. You know what I mean? He is a Super Bowl winner. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like if because we've been talking about this whole offseason, guys that we've picked up, you know what I mean, that they've had good years before. They've had this before, and Pete's going to be able to coach them up and you know, make them better, right? So I that's why I like Devin White, because he's done that too. He's been a Super Bowl winner. He's been a fucking Pro Bowl. He's been, I think he was even All Pro one year. You know what I mean? So he's been an All Pro. He's been like, you know what I mean, in this league. So
yeah, you made All Pro when they won the Super Bowl.
So getting him in there with Pete, I think that why wouldn't that pertain to him also? You know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't that pertain to him? Like if he's had that type of history before, why can't Pete bring out the best in him also? You know what I mean? Like if everybody's so confident that he's going to be able to do that with Chin and with Roberts and with Stokes and all of these guys that we got. So I think that the same thing should be the same case for Devin White.
With him, yeah. I just looked at his contract, dude. He's making $1 million 1 year, $1 million. And he didn't even get a chance, I don't think, to even get a second contract. And he was, I don't know if he got paid real deep with Philly, but they got, if he did, they just cut him. And then, he went to a guy that's a linebacker head coach, and then they cut him too. It's just weird, but I'm excited that he's there because I thought really good of White when he was with Tampa, and I wanted him in the draft, and for him to, maybe that's what he needs. He just needs, like, what Chason did. He was a first number one pick. This guy's a high number one pick. He should be in the league causing damage way more than 6 years. He's 27. He's young. Maybe we could rejuvenate his. This is what I would call the legit prove it to me that you belong here type deal. That ain't shit. That ain't. Devin White deserves more than that. Even with his play, you get a Super Bowl, he dropped down to $1 million. So maybe, but then I wonder why. He's getting paid that though, Gabe. But it doesn't matter. As long as he plays, I'll dig him. Everybody will. A lot of people are excited that he's here, but I don't think they know why he's here. What his play wasn't up to par at all for what he used to do. So I don't know what it is or what it was. Maybe he wasn't happy, and then maybe he was trying to ring chase, or I don't know what it was. Or maybe he's just a damn good linebacker that doesn't get a lot of reps, and he's gonna be in there. So maybe that's what we'll do with the, because I know I'm confident in him being there. And he
last year he was on both teams, like, so, because every other year he was with Tampa. So last year he was with both teams. Didn't really have anything statistically, you know what I mean? So, but every other year, I mean, he gets up there. I mean, he's had years with 9. He had a year with 9 sacks. I think that 2020 was his best year statistically for sure. 9 sacks, 140 tackles. You know what I mean? That dude was balling.
That's what that was 3 years ago.
As a fucking linebacker, 2020.
5 years.
And 3 years ago, he still was good. I mean, he had 5.5 sacks for a linebacker. That's good, man. Fucking 5.5 sacks, 124 tackles. I mean, he's still, and that was 3 years ago. I mean, even 2 years ago with Tampa, he had 2.5 sacks, 83 tackles. So it's not like he's been kind of like falling off a little bit. I think that's the reason why Tampa kind of like, ended up letting him go. But I mean, he's only 1 year.
You let him go. You let him go with the 128 tackles and 5 sacks. Damn. Yeah, you know what that brings me? That he's gonna be probably a good blitzer for us.
And he had 2 interceptions that year.
He's probably gonna take that Diablo role, but better. Diablo used to blitz a lot, so maybe they see something in his athleticism, because he's a side to side guy. He's not a cover guy.
He's fast.
He's a quick side to side guy. So
he's fast. Yeah, he is fast. But he will hit you, like Spytek said. He will hit you.
Yeah,
so, I mean, that's where he's scared to put his end. Yeah. So he will hit that.
That's the way I think a linebacker should be, man. You got to be crazy to be a linebacker. So he probably fits that mold. The coverage part of it nowadays, the coverage of nowadays, I don't know he's up to that, but I'll take a side to side guy that's better than Diablo, a better tackler than Diablo, and could blitz and already documented sacks. I'll take that in a minute. So I'm not mad of Devin White. I think it's a good pickup, and I think it's going to make this Roberts guy better too, because he doesn't have to do that. We know Roberts can't cover, so we could just leave him in the game to probably just drop back, and then Devin White could be the side to side guy, and then we could have one of the younger guys. We get a guy. I know that the linebackers that are in this draft is better than our backups probably, because I haven't seen.
I like Amari Gainer.
Unless they come up and shock you with amazing good play, top notch play, and they need to do that. They need to get the chance. They need to get the guys that they have there to step up and play. This new guy we got from Ohio State, I heard a bunch of good shit about him, and he doesn't even get into the game. Yeah, and then Amari Burney's been there for a couple of years already. He should be playing already. I know he wasn't that high of a pick, but he's there. He sticks around. He makes the squad after a couple. Yeah, he
and
makes it. He
Amari
makes them.
Gainer. We have two undrafted guys, Masterson and Amari Gainer, and then it's just. I mean,
we don't think very highly of those guys, do you? You think very highly of what we got in the back? The problem, well, we got two solid guys.
I mean, Gainer has some good upside because that dude's pretty long armed, a little taller, fast too. But it's just he wasn't drafted. I mean, he came in last year. Dude had a good training camp, was able to stick onto the team. You know what I mean? But can he make that jump? Can he make that jump to be one of those guys that sticks out? You know what I mean? Like one of those undrafted free agent, a Jacoby Myers type. You know what I mean? Like that type of guy. You know what I mean? Where they make that type of jump. Yeah, he had a very good actually training camp last year. I mean, where you were hearing a lot of Amari Gainer. So it's like I just think that it's can he make that jump this year to where can he become that coverage linebacker for us? Which I mean, hopefully we don't have to depend on that. I'm just talking about currently constructed. Like if we don't address that in the draft, but I have some confidence that we probably will because it's just that I think we have enough draft picks where I think we're gonna fill some holes. You know what I mean? I think we're gonna be able to get depth, in the draft. But it's like I think linebacker has to come sooner rather than later, man, because we wait till the 5th, 6th round, 7th round sometimes, and it's like, man, that's a position of some need. You know what I mean? Because like I just we need that, man. Like because the linebackers are all. I mean, tight ends are always tearing us up.
Yeah,
always.
And then that's a if you got a good safety that could cover for it, but the dude plays zone so much, and there's nothing wrong with it, Gabe. There's nothing wrong with playing zone. It's you could cover better, but when you play man, it frees up so much people, and you got good corners. It frees up so much people is that those guys could get in there and get tackles and cover the middle where the safeties could do that. But it's not a drastic of importance, but it is. It matters what team you play. If you get a team that's gonna dissect you, like we get dissected up the middle all the time. Teams know that. Teams know that these dudes can't cover the middle. So anytime that they want, they could just first down. When it comes down to it, first down. And that's a big problem for us. And that's why I've said that for a lot of times. Gabe, you heard me for 2 years already, almost 3 years that we've been having this show. I've been saying that the middle of the field is always a liability for the Raiders, and that's why I didn't feel like there it is clean that Patrick Graham. I wasn't happy when we got Patrick Graham. Wait till what's his name comes on here. I wasn't happy that Patrick Graham came back because of that, because of the certain situations that we got in defensively. I didn't like, and it was weird that he came back. But I have a whole other thing about Patrick Graham that when this is it, right? When Pete Carroll is done with his Raiders and he does what he does with us, I think that Patrick Graham is going to be the successor of him. If he has, so we have a drastic, successful defensive system now. We're top 5 or whatever in the league. I think Patrick Graham's getting groomed to be our next head coach, or he's getting.
Hopefully that's the case because he has been. Hopefully that could be the case because that means we're gonna get better, and that means that
stability.
If he's able to stick around to when Pete's gone, that means that first. If Pete's able to stick around for 3 years, that means there's some winning involved.
Yeah.
And if there's winning involved and Patrick Graham stays, then that means that, you know what I mean, there'll be some continuity finally to the defense, and that'll be a good successor because he would already be with Pete Carroll for 3-4 years by then. You know what I mean? So it's like if he's able to stick around, that's what I'm saying because, if there's any success, nowadays with the NFL, teams try to pluck out those guys. You know what I mean? Try to pluck out those guys quick, and especially he's been getting interviews, for the last couple of years now, and that's with losing seasons. Now, imagine if we go 11-6,
Yeah.
12-5, what I mean? He's really gonna get seriously looked at. So, but if the plan is there to where you're being successful and he sticks with it, and him and Pete have already kind of made it clear that you will be successful if we everything goes to plan, then hopefully that can stick around. But I don't see Patrick Graham. I see him every year going out for those
interviews.
So I'm pretty sure he'll take a job if he's really, if somebody's really interested. You know what I mean? So it's like because I think he's really interested in being the head coach again. It's just he hasn't really been giving that actual opportunity because the Raiders haven't actually won. You know what I mean? I know that besides that 1 year, but this will be his 4th year now. So we'll see, man.
He's been Raiders. He's the longest tenured coach here, isn't he? Besides
Deuce Gruden.
Because Deuce Gruden, isn't that a bitch? Damn, did you think a Gruden would stay in here? Hey, Yerp, what's up, Yerp? Thank you for being here. Arnold, thank you for being here, man. Steve DeLuna, always good to see you, bro. Vincent Rodriguez, what's up? Herb had something. He said,
Can Pete Carroll bring out the best in Tyree Wilson? We'll see about that.
Do that. I was thinking the same thing the other night, Gabe. I was saying, you know what? Should I start talking some good shit about Tyree Wilson now? Because it's not. This is what I think AP did with them. He said, be you. Go be you. You know what I mean? And they gave him some freedom to do stuff. And that's what he tried out. And it looks like he needs some structure. And I think Pete Carroll can guide him that way. This is what you need to do. This is what you're good at. So do this. I want Tyree to be what he was drafted to be. I want him to be a defensive end. I don't want him to be a nose tackle. And it's easy to say as Raider fans, it's easy to say, yeah, move him inside because he has a bull rush and he gets in a couple of times. When you play a good offensive line, that ain't gonna happen. And it doesn't happen because he doesn't get a lot of sacks. He gets some, but he doesn't get what a powerful defensive tackle should do. And maybe I might give it to him. I'm just not gonna say anything about him. He has one good game. I ain't gonna jack off to it. But if he has several good games and it improves, what I'm supposed to say? Pause after that.
No, you're good.
If he improves, then I'll say, what's up? Finally, number 9 is doing something well. And then it's about goddamn time. You know what I mean? But I don't want this dude to start getting good and then he doesn't get an extension and then he bounces in free agency. You know what I mean? He's already underachieved in my book. So he needs to.
For sure. For the 7th overall pick, for sure.
He needs
especially when you got fucking Jalen Carter doing what he's doing.
Yeah. Somebody says, am I on the right show? We're being positive. When have we been positive, Gabe? No. I think it was we the people.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know why you did. Damn, it's like
that. No, it's just more like I don't know, man. I think it can Tyree. It depends on I think how he comes into camp too. I think like because the signing of Kuntz, like I know you want him to be a defensive end, but do they I just think it's gonna be important how he comes into camp. So if he comes into camp, heavy, then I think probably staff has been asking him probably to move over to DT. You know what I mean? But I just see that if how he comes into camp will be probably tells us where he's gonna probably play most of the season. But I mean, we need help at that end position though right now too. I mean, I know Kuntz and Max seem to be the starters or whatever like that, but I just think that it's going to be important because remember, like Kuntz, like I've been saying, I hate to fucking be always harping on the Kuntz the 8-game situation, but yeah, he's going to need some type of insurance policy.
He hasn't done much, bro. He's
gonna need some type of insurance policy back there, man, because as much as he has talent, it's just hasn't been seen much, man. And what is this going to be? His 4th year?
I believe Tyree is only 24 going into his 3rd year.
Yeah.
This is his 3rd year. So, but
Dude,
he was a number. He was a high pick. He should be Pro Bowl by now. This should be his year to be Pro Bowl. But there's no stats or anything to and don't tell me he was hurt when we picked him. That's even worse of a mistake that adds on to his not playing well. That we picked a hurt player that was hurt during the year. He got hurt and it didn't play in his bowl game. He didn't participate in training camp. He didn't do nothing. And so why did we pick him then? We were so jacked up in the head as an organization. We picked this dude. He was hurt. He just had he was just dominant in college because he was so big. You know, that's the thing. He's a monster. And that's hard. I understand why they keep him around. I understand why you got to keep him.
He's underachieved by a lot. You know what I mean? For the 7th overall pick, for sure. Can we all agree if Kuntz didn't get hurt, he would have double digits? Oh, man, like that's iffy. Like I would like to say yes for sure, because I mean, if in 8 games you got that type of production, I know that's not, you're not gonna mirror the same exact production like that, because teams are going to start, if you're having that type of impact, teams will start then game planning for you, or you know what I mean, sliding a guard over or something like that to help out or shit like that. So maybe he doesn't get a sack every game, but I would like to hope that he would be able to get to 10 sacks with that type of what he showed in those 8 games. I would like to think so, but it's just until he's out there for a whole season, that's the bigger question. Until he's out there for a whole season and he's not, ailing and all of that stuff, like that's when I'll be more optimistic about him and more like hopeful about him. Like his upside is crazy for sure. Yeah, his upside is for sure crazy. It's just until I see him healthy, then I'll be on that same boat, I think, with a lot of people. But it's just his injuries scare me, man. That's just because signing up for 1 year, it's telling me the same thing that I'm thinking too. Like the regime is telling me, like, it's kind of thinking the same thing I'm thinking. Yeah, his upside is crazy. That's why I'm willing to give him $12 million, but I'm not willing to give him more than 1 year because of that same thing that I've been talking about. Yeah, he stay healthy for a whole year?
Yeah, I like what they did with Kuntz. I think that was the best way around it. And I'm glad he agreed with it. That means he came around to, hey, I haven't done much. Maybe he said that to himself. I think that was good, man. Getting Kuntz back really like changed my mind as far as
crazy.
Yeah, really. Are you talking about Tyree or Kuntz?
Kuntz. His upside is crazy.
It's crazy. But you got to say the same thing for Tyree too, because you look at the dude, you go, God, why did this guy do this? What happened?
The thing is, the only reason I say the upside is crazy with Kuntz, and I don't make it like, because I was saying that kind of like a year or two ago with Tyree, but with Kuntz, I've seen it for an actual 8 games. I've actually seen it for 8 games on the NFL level. Like, you've seen little flashes here and there with Tyree at, maybe, and very few. That's the thing. And that's why I would say, like, the upside is crazy with Tyree, but it's like, I think his size and just he's a freak fucking dude that, like, that's what makes his upside crazy, because if he's able to get that frame moving the way he was, scouted to be, like, be that guy that's fast, fucking big dude, and just longest wingspan in NFL and shit like that. It's just like it is. Yeah, that tells you his upside is great, but I just haven't seen it. That's why I'm not willing to, like, give him that label yet. But, like, I've seen actual, Kuntz do it, but it's just, it scares me because, like, I want to see him do it stay healthy for a whole year. You know what I mean? Do it for a whole year and shit like that, which some of it wasn't his fault. Some of it wasn't his fault, but like I said that one time too, like, I know the doghouse is the doghouse, whatever, and McDaniels is a asshole, whatever, however you want to call him. But dudes with immense talent, I don't care what coach it is, they're not gonna sit them there's a reason why he was in the doghouse or even able to be in the like Pro Bowl stars and stuff like that aren't able to be in the doghouse. They're able to be, those are the type of guys that you see where the coach does that like bullshit type of penalty for like the player where he sits a drive or two. He sits a drive or two in the game because they know how important that guy actually is. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. We'll try to make an example out of him, and we'll sit him a half. We'll sit him the first half of this game, but they'll actually play him in the second half because they know exactly how important he is, and that's why I say like if Kuntz was that good, that guy that a lot of people actually think like I think his upside is crazy, but I never had seen it before those 8 games. You know what I mean? Like people were already labeling him the next Mac even before that shit. You know what I mean? So it's like and. If he was actually that guy, you wouldn't be able to put him in a doghouse. There was no doghouse to fit him.
Yeah, I think McDaniels was the biggest mistake. More than
that too.
Because came in, so I'm willing to just excuse that year and a half, just to not piss me off, basically. But I want to say what's up to Joel Lee, Money Chuck. Money Chuck, what's up, man? He had a good little question. And Steve DeLuna, what's up, bro? If Kuntz balls out, we're gonna have to get rid of someone for money reasons. I'll be fine with moving on from Tyree. You know what, bro? I think it's gonna be tough for this organization to get rid of Tyree. That's why we keep dudes like that have the potential to do things like that. Are so these dudes they don't make dudes like this. Like we hang on to that dude Wagner, right? We know his footwork is terrible. You can't right there. Gabe, you're on mute. You're on mute. Oh, okay. Gabe's on the phone. My bad. Do we still hang on to Wagner? We still got that guy. I see him on the roster. So we hang on to the big, super big dudes like that. That it's amazing. Like they don't make a guy, 6'9", 340-pound guy. They don't make guys like that. So you got to keep those dudes around and see if they develop. The dude was a free agent, so I don't mind that. Tyree was you got to keep around. You got to keep guys because the way when I'm coaching, you see guys that have the size. They just need to put it up. They need to put it up in here. Like we have that Wagner guy. He's on our roster. And the dude 6'9", 340. You got to keep a guy like that around and say, hey, dude, the dude was a free agent. He could get in and maybe he might pop. Tyree doesn't have that excuse, bro. You know what I mean? He was expected from the get-go to do it. And that's how messed up we were for us to pick a guy like that. It's not his fault, but his play, he's making it better. And our lives, what's up, our lives? How you doing, man? My friends and partner. J-Dog, what's up, man? Thank you for coming up in. He's not cheap labor, bro. He's getting paid millions of dollars. He's probably getting paid more than Kuntz is. I'm telling you that.
Yeah.
Number 1 pick. That's a good contract. He gets that for 4 years. Probably 5 if they extend him. But
I think it wasn't that. No, I think it wasn't. I don't know how much the deal was for, but like I know it's not cheap. It's not that cheap. It's not as because we've been signing these guys, that's for sure.
These number 1 picks, 1 through probably 10, they get a lot of money. They get a lot of dough. I don't know what his contract is, but he's not getting $50K. I know that. Is that what you mean, J-Dog? He's getting 50,000? Nah, bro. He's getting millions. He's in
probably he said, 10. How much? No, I think he's answering. He's answering what's a Money Chuck's question. How much would you pay Tyree if Kuntz balls out and they give him $20 million next year? How much do you give Tyree? You know what I mean?
Getting paid either way. He's getting paid either way. It's his 4th year. And then that's when he decided we want to keep him for 5.
Yeah, I think we still have Tyree Wilson for even another year after this. So he signed a 7th overall pick and signed a 4-year, $25 million contract. So it's right around a little bit more than he's doing a little bit more than $6 million a year.
See, that's a lot for not doing shit. He's cool with it, but you have to. You ain't worth $6 million a year right now. He ain't.
No, I mean
he's not.
I mean, I've talked. I think people could say that I talked shit about Jeremy Chin, but when you compare the numbers, you know what I mean, like they're almost making the same type amount of money.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So it's like they're making.
Because Chin wasn't a 1st round pick. You think they think?
What I mean is Tyree has not done anything. I mean, at least Chin has had production in this league. You know what I mean? And he deserves the $8 million he's getting or whatever. Like, and that's a deal, pretty much. That's a deal for a safety, I think. But what I mean? But like,
Chin was what, a 2nd round pick?
I'm not too sure.
I think he was a 2nd round pick.
For Carolina, I think so. But it's like $6 million. Yeah, especially because the money, the contracts that we've been giving out, $6 million sounds like a whole lot of money.
I'm surprised people didn't get pissed because he makes that much money. I don't know if you know that Tyree Wilson makes $6 million a year. With who would do that right now? And you reverse Devin White with. I'll give Devin White that money if he was a little bit better, but Tyree would get the $1 million.
Nah, I know.
You got to give us a rebate or something. We got to get a rebate.
Yeah, but he's getting paid on his pre-draft expectation, basically. That's what he's getting paid off of still. I mean, that's the importance of getting picked in the 1st round and high, bro, because that might be the only contract you ever get. You know what I mean? Some guys don't make it past their 1st contract. So, like, if you're able to get that first, that might be the only $6 million for 4 years he gets for the rest of his life. You know what I mean? If he's not, I mean, I don't think so. I think he'll be able to stick around even if he doesn't ball out just because of his sheer size and shit like that. He'll be able to probably stick around as a depth piece somewhere. Like and I'm just talking about if he stays with the same production. I think he could. I think he can get better, but it's just like even if he stays with the same production, I think he could stick around just because of his size and plug up a hole or something like that. Just because maybe a depth piece somewhere. But this might be the way it's looking right now. If you just look at his first 2 years, this might be his biggest payday ever if you don't step up.
Yeah.
So that's why, that's what the importance of being picked so high is. You know what I mean? So it's like, I know we could say that he don't deserve it right now, but I mean, I guess you could say his college, whatever he did in college, I guess got him that money. But right now, that money that he's getting is basically only a pre-draft hype. Basically, his size, all of that shit. That's what they're getting paid off of, because before they step a foot on the NFL, that's what they're all getting paid for. And I mean, all of it.
I don't think there's any pre-draft hype with Tyree Wilson getting picked. I don't know.
No, I remember him. He wasn't being the talk for a while, and then all of a sudden he started getting talked about a lot. Then he started jumping up in the draft. Then he started jumping up more and more, and then all of a sudden he was like a top 5 prospect. You know what I mean? And it was just like, damn, this motherfucker came out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And it's just like he had that, and that's why I think that's where that pre-hype, that's where the pre-draft hype was, where he got all that momentum, like towards the draft, and the Raiders made a stupid move and picked him.
What up, Vincent? How you doing, bro? All eyes with the all eyes. This year, Tyree.
He has to do better. He has to do better, bro. Like, he has to, because $6 million, if he goes out there and produces, $6 million ain't shit, to be honest. Because if he produces,
that'll be a benefit for us. Yeah,
you know what I mean? Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, right now, what's crazy is that right now with this production, $6 million seems like a whole fucking lot. But if he produces as a defensive lineman or a defensive end, $6 million ain't shit. You know what I mean? And it's all context with him. You know what I mean? So it's like, if he produces, that's a great contract. You know what I mean? Because at $6 million and he's productive, that's just great. But when you're just taking $6 million out of from the salary cap or whatever it is, and you're just not productive at all, and you were a 7th overall pick, then it looks fucking bad. You know what I mean? $6 million looks like 5.9 million too much. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it's like that's what I'm saying. Like it's just like right now, like that shit could change real fast. He's productive. That $6 million we'll be up in arms. Like, damn, I wish he could always pay for $6 million. But it's just that's the thing with him.
Yeah, but he won't be. He'd be actually called a linebacker there, Money Chuck. So I don't think he's hell no. I don't think he'll make him a linebacker. But we're really like a 4. We're really like a 4-2-5. I think that's what Patrick did. He rolls it, but most likely it's 4-2-5 with the box safety and the slot. That he has, 3 safeties back there. So plus the slot guy, with the slot guy included. But he's gonna be all right. What's up, SL Raider? Now, offensively, bro, we've had a problem offensively, and the only thing we've done really was grab Geno and then get. I know we were happy with the most start a little bit, but I kind of fell off that, thinking that we were going to do something better in as far as free agency. But it looks like everybody in the media, really the top-notch media, and the football gurus are saying that the Raiders are going to pick Ashton Jeanty at 6. Just about all of them. Just about everyone.
There's a lot of them for sure.
I know we talked about it last time we had a show. That is Jeanty the guy that would you be disappointed in that? Because it's a necessity. It's a necessity. We need a running game, and I'm tired of seeing the shit we've been having. And I know I'm pretty confident that Jeanty could come in here and be productive for us with this offensive line. It's different. We lost our center. That's what everybody wanted. And we got our main center back. So maybe the attitude changes. Maybe pick up some offensive linemen, and then I know what's
the name hasn't produced at all, basically. Michael Mayer, but we lost the tight end. We lost him. You know what I mean? So I know Bowers is all pro. You know what I mean? All world and shit like that. Great tight end and shit like that.
What do you mean we lost Mayer? What do you mean we lost Mayer? What happened?
Traded him.
We traded Mayer to who?
To the fucking the Titans, right?
When did this happen?
We traded Michael Mayer to the Titans, right?
Nah, I never heard none of that. That's news to me. Mayer was traded. That was April Fool. That was an April Fool's joke. Okay. You listen to April Fool's, oh boy. I don't know. That's not true.
Was that even yesterday that I even seen that shit? No, he's being like, well, I know he's being shopped for sure. I know because the Raiders put him on the trade deadline. Not trade deadline, the trade. I know they were saying that he was looking to like go somewhere else or something like that too, or something like that, because there were something that he was on the trade block or something like that. But
yeah, they've been shopping.
Maybe that was April Fool's yesterday, but shit, man, it's just hopefully that is, because we need that. We need him as an extra tight end, because I know we got Ian Thomas or whatever like that from Carolina, but if you hear anything from like people that are Carolina fans or anything like that, they're glad Ian Thomas is gone.
Mm-hmm. But I heard he's not really a good dude. You know what I mean? I heard he's not really a good cat, but maybe Pete likes that. You don't have to be a nice guy to play football, bro. I like dudes with attitudes. I don't like guys that bitch and complain, but if he's just don't want to hear shit and plays pretty good, but he had to replace what was it? The legend over there in Carolina. They have that Olsen guy. He had to replace him, dude. That was hard to do. That guy's probably going to be up in maybe consideration to be a Hall of Fame someday, but I don't know if he's going to be there. But see, because the reason why I think it blends in with us as far as tight ends are concerned is that I would keep Mayer. I would keep Mayer as my blocking tight end because Bowers isn't that. And I don't need Bowers to be your tight end. He's more of a weapon on what he does playing slot. You know, he could go outside. He could do a lot of other things. That's just the new generation of football, Gabe. And you want to put in 12 personnel. You know, the 12 personnel is a tight end like Mayer in the game blocking, and then you know Bowers doing the same thing. It's like an overload on one side. You know what I mean? That's what it is. Or two tight ends on each side. That's a 12 personnel. Not 12 personnel. Well, 12 personnel isn't Brock Bowers in the slot playing receiver. That's not 12 personnel. He's a tight end, yes, but two blocking tight ends is what 12 personnel usually is. It can be different. People have their own different things, but the way I run it is that if I have a tight end that's an athlete that can play receiver, I put him at slot and put another tackle with a tight end. That can be 12 personnel because you have a receiver that's playing tight end, but I don't think Bowers is a 12 personnel guy. He's a special kid, and he's a receiver to me, a big receiver. So
a dude can block though, man. He can block too.
He can block. He gets in there, but Mayer is the typical big tight end that has hands, and he could. I would keep the dude. He doesn't want to be here. I don't know what we did to him. He came during the McDaniel era, so maybe that messed him up. But
there is talks. There's been ongoing talks about him. You know what I mean? I think ever since even last year when all that shit was going on, they were even thinking about, you know, kind of moving him. And I know this year in the offseason, I know that April Fool's shit, whatever, but like even earlier in the offseason, you know, there was talks about moving Mayer.
Yeah.
So it's like
I've heard that. I know
does that become a draft night, like maybe a day 2, day 3 draft night trade or something like that to maybe, you know, accumulate more draft picks or whatever it's like that? I hope not, because I think Mayer, you know what I mean? I think Mayer can. I think he can be good, man. I just think that we haven't had the quarterbacks to get him like started, especially because I think the quarterbacks that we have had, you know, they tend to like lock on a receiver. You know what I mean? And that's why those guys seem to get stats and shit like that. Like you see Bowers last year and type of shit like that. But like these quarterbacks have their favorite. You see kind of when Aiden would come in, he would target, you know, Mike. He would target Jacoby a lot. You know what I mean? He would target Jacoby a hell of a lot. You know what I mean? And then you see kind of Minshew with Bowers. You know what I mean? So it's like they would kind of like zero in, where I think Gino kind of maybe distributes the ball a little bit more to where I think Michael Mayer will get more opportunity.
Yeah. I think he's gonna love those two tight ends, and I think it's a big asset that we keep both of them because they're both really good tight ends, and we're blessed to have something like that. Just saying, they could be floating them out there all they want. They could be floating them out there all they want, but it'll be better for our team right now for us to keep the guy. You know, let him. You know, unless he's not happy, unless he wants to go somewhere else. Because Bowers is intimidating, bro. Seeing that dude do what he does, and you're a tight end, the same position, you're going like, what the hell, dude? I can't do this shit. But
hey, but anyways, Notre Dame, man. Notre Dame, he was a baller, dude.
He was a baller. He was balling. He was the best tight end during that year. That was Bowers' junior year. Bowers won the best tight end. He won that shit 2 years in a row. He won his junior year and his senior year. So Mayer was involved in that, but he was just a year.
Mayer was no damn slouch. Mayer was no damn slouch that year. Hell no. Like, I think Bowers got the nod because they were like the national champions or whatever, but Mayer was a hell of a tight end that year.
Yeah, he was. He's a good tight end now. So his love for football is different, but you know, there's other things wrong with him, and then I think the Raiders don't want that. The Raiders don't want that distraction, so he just float the ball. But I think he'll be, if we have to, because his situation, they're fine. But And we're just doing it to get a 5th round pick or 6th. I think you just keep him.
I'd rather keep him. Yeah, I'd rather keep him.
What up to my
For
boy
that,
Dark? What up to my boy Dark? What up to SL Raider, man? I seen you a couple times, but my boy Dark,
because I
man,
know
good to
that.
see you, bro.
So I know that
ACL
Pete
double
didn't
X
pick
Psycho.
him.
What's up, bro?
I know Pete didn't pick him, but it's like the team itself gave up a second pick for him. You know what I mean? They used a second round pick for him. You know what I mean? So it's like when
They
you're
moved
trading
up to
him,
get him.
like yeah, when
They
you're
moved up.
trading him for like a 6th round pick when you haven't even seen what you can get out of him, which I understand if he doesn't, if his head's not there, like all I said, if his head's not there, then yeah, I mean, you know, do what you can to like get whatever you can for him because like if his head's not there, then you can't really do nothing about that. You know what I mean? You can't really do anything about that. Like, but if you see him putting in the work like this off season and you know what I mean, he's in the building and he's working his ass off, you know what I mean, to get back on the field, then I would fucking keep him. I wouldn't even, you know, entertain trading him because it's like you use such a high draft pick and if you're gonna get back a 5th, 4th, like I mean 4th round, you can still maybe think about it because there's still some. I think you could probably get some good value in the 4th round, but 5th, 6th, 7th round, nah, man. Like what for?
Not even worth it. Not even worth it. I wouldn't even entertain that. They'd be disrespecting me if he did shit like that. You'd be disrespecting him for a 5th round pick when he goes where he wants to.
Well, we need an extra
But if
tight
he's
end like
traded,
that too.
and if he's traded, dude, he doesn't get to go where he wants. What if he goes to another suck ass team? It's just the best deal. Whoever gives you the best pick, and then maybe he don't like that. It started, bro. He didn't like the McDaniels situation. Remember, he said he didn't even want to come to practice. He said that when the McDaniels era came, and then he does a no show or leaves during AP's tender. So we haven't seen the dude until the end of the season last year, and I thought he did a good job last year coming back. Probably had to get his legs under him and stuff like that. But he caught a couple of balls real quick the first game he was in. There were 2 or 3 balls that came his way. So I thought it was cool. I don't want to get rid of him. Or they trading him. They're just doing it to maybe
No,
doesn't want to be.
I agree too. Like this is what I'm saying. If his head's not there, then yeah, get rid of him. You know what I mean? If he is like you're saying, like I don't want to go as far as what you're saying. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna call him a lame or anything like that. But like, it's just like because you know everybody does go through. Like, to be honest, nothing has ever been shared what he went through. So like we could all be saying like you know like I know it's easy to say you know he's a lame or whatever like that, but it's like we don't know like because people do. It was also reported that it's you know some family issues, so you never know what type of family issues he was going through, whatever it is. You know what I mean? Like money can't really really can't fix you know issues with your family type shit. You know what I mean? Like that, especially if it's like some type of you know, which they were kind of you know alluding to, like maybe it was a sickness in the family or something like that too, where his head wasn't right. So I don't know. To be honest, I don't know what. I'm not even going to speculate or anything about it. I just don't know. I can't really even say, but that's what I'm saying. If his head's not there, then yeah, get what you can for him. Get what you can for him because I don't think that's going to get any better, especially if it's already 1 year removed from that situation or whatever it is. You know what I mean? I just don't think it's going to get better because he probably needs a different situation anyway. You know what I mean? Because most of the times when you're in those situations, you need a different scenery or whatever it is because you're stuck in that funk. You know what I mean? Wherever you're at in that time of your life when shit goes wrong, then you just need to get out of that situation. So it's like, maybe if that's the situation, get him out of here. Get whatever you can for him. But that's why I said if he's in the building and he's fucking putting in the work and you see him in the building, like putting in the work and out there with, say, like his fucking, with Aiden O'Connell or Geno Smith or whatever, practicing in the offseason and doing all this shit, like, then yeah, I just don't see no reason to get rid of him when we use such a high draft pick for him.
Yeah, he was a second rounder. I remember that. We moved up to get him, and I was happy when man. I just liked the kid all along, but the reason for this that Ian guy getting picked is that we lost that Bryant kid, that really good athletic tight end that we had. We lost him, so I think that's who this Ian cat replaces, and then I'm hearing that this guy, you know, he has problems with people. I don't know. He's a real secluded type guy, and he has problems with. You know, it's in the locker room and stuff like that. So if we're always saying that players, he ain't gonna fit in with the locker room. Look at Ian, man. Look at the type of dude he is, and the complaints about him in the locker room and the team he was on. They were so happy to get rid of that guy. That's what I'm
Yeah, that's true.
good
Yeah,
good
that's why
people
I'm
good
saying like
people in
we
media
need.
said he had problems with Ebb. The expectations were probably so high for him that he didn't fulfill them real quick, and then they just dogged him. They dogged him, but they kept him around. That's not real healthy for a football player when you do shit like that. But he's just not a good person in the locker room. Maybe it's that one. Maybe this might change. Maybe you like the environment over here. Pete Carroll can change that shit. We're gonna have a good culture, healthy culture here with the Raiders with Pete Carroll involved in it. Here we go. All eyes is that he's not like he wigged out like Chandler Jones and social media. Nah, he
Yeah,
didn't
for
do that.
real.
It was personal, so we should stay out of it. Chandler's
Rafa, we have.
still
Yeah, I think we're on the verge of having. Like, this is just my assessment of this guy. I know that there's some good centers in the league, but I think we have a center right now in Powers that's has the potential to probably be the best center in football. I know I understand if Parham's if Parham's struggling at guard, then you just got to go out there and try to see if you can you know improve that position or something like that. But to move Parham to center because he's struggling at guard and you have potentially one of the I think better centers in the league. I don't think you make that move just because Parham's struggling at guard. I think because I mean I know I get that Powers Johnson is versatile and he could play guard and center and shit like that. So like where you can do that, but I just think it's too important to have Powers at center. Too important to have Powers at center. I'm
that's a
not gonna move him just
natural
because
position.
somebody's not being able to do their position at their job or do their job at their position. I'm not gonna move some other. I'm not gonna move potential, greatness. I think, in my opinion, I'm not gonna move potential greatness at that position just because you're struggling at yours.
The problem with Parham is that what I think we did before is that we put him in there. He had the reps and he started playing better. But this year he didn't get
I know
them.
he had calf injuries though too last year. Though I mean, like
Yeah,
I know it's excuses and whatever like
I was
that,
just
but
gonna say that.
I just
I
want
was
to feel
just
they are back all healthy. You know what I mean? Like I know he
mm,
was dealing with calf injuries the whole time, and then at guard, you know what I mean? When I think he's already a
he's
smaller
smaller.
offensive lineman,
As well.
smaller
Him,
offensive
man.
lineman as it is. He needs his legs. He needs his
Yeah,
legs.
you got to get that. Once you get calf injuries, man, you're a big dude like that. But he's not as big as the biggest guy, but he's a big dude. He's 290 pounds, 280 pounds. He's just not as big as you want your guards to be. And I think he can play good. He's good on his feet. If he can just gain a little bit more weight, get stronger. And he's a little guy. He's not super big. Mumford is a bigger guy. And I like that we signed Meredith too. Meredith is a big asset for us, and I'm glad we kept him too. And the Kappa's gonna go in there at that right tackle spot. We got a natural tackle that's been in Pro Bowls, that won Super Bowls, and I'm hearing a lot of people capping on it that just because he didn't play well last year, and he was on a team that was good offensively, but he let some guys get through, but I don't see him playing that way with us. I think have confidence in what Pete's gonna do, and I'm also confident on the design that Chip is gonna make for offensive line. I can't wait to see it. I'm real heavy on Chip Kelly, and he can bring good things that we haven't seen before, and and I hope it happens. I'm not gonna sit here and say, "Oh shit, man! Oh shit!" I know this guy likes to run the ball. He has to run the ball. The base thing of his offense is running the football, and if he can't do it, then we ain't gonna be shit, Gabe. So
That's exactly why I fucking keep saying that. Like I wouldn't
we
be
could
mad
get
at Jensen,
Janty.
man. I
You could
wouldn't be
pencil
mad
in
at
Janty.
Jensen, man.
You could, Gabe. Somebody agrees with you finally. There you go. I say Parham, Meredith, and Capital are serviceable guards,
Surfboard.
but I like some maulers in there, like JPJ. The thing about JPJ being center, though, Joe Ali, is that I'm real into the offensive line. Gabe knows that, and Lowe knows that. that don't be surprised if we get an offensive lineman in the first round. I wouldn't even be bitching about that stuff. And I'm down for saying that exactly. Don't be surprised if an offensive lineman goes the first round because you can't have enough. It's just like having some defensive linemen. You can't have enough of edge rushers. You can't have enough of defensive linemen. You can't have enough backup, good offensive tackles, offensive linemen. Period. Now, the tenacity and the drive that JPJ has at that lead position, that's the position that carries over to the other four guys more than anything, Gabe. And you know that. JPJ is going to be the leader of that offensive line. He's going to make all the calls, and he's going to be expected to. So if he does that and does that correctly, I think that offensive line is going to take over that attitude, and they're going to play with confidence because the dude plays with confidence. You don't see any bitch in that guy. You know what I mean? And last year, the way we ran the football, it looked like it was a bunch of bitches. So maybe JPJ was in a wrong position, but now that he's in that lead position, that it's gonna step up. And I'm pretty sure the way he is that he's a veteran now, so he's gonna get in there and just say, "Hey, this is my show. You guys got to say what's up. Let's go. No more of this pussyfoot."
We need Glaze to make that jump too, man.
Yeah, I see Glaze. We're talking about Colton Miller. I see Glaze taking that left tackle spot.
Because I think that's another reason why you see Parham kind of struggle too. Like, I'm not saying Glaze play like dog shit or trash or anything like that, but he was also had his growing pains. You seen that shit last year. You seen him, kind of out of position sometimes, or not having his arms out, letting guys get letting the defensive getting their hands on him. You know what I mean? Before. You know what I mean? But getting his hands on them, basically, because that's the fight with the tackle and the defensive end, man. It's who gets their hands on who's first. You know what I mean? Who gets that inside position and shit like that. So it's like you've seen that. So if he can make that jump, then I think that brings up Parham's game too, because now Parham doesn't have to compensate as much. You know what I mean? Doesn't have to slide off a block because he might have been out of position. And the guy's, rushing inside. So he has to, kind of work off his own block and still, help out with him. So I think with Glaze making that jump helps out Parham's, kind of job too. And also, like we were talking about earlier, Parham kind of dealt with that calf injury all year because he would play a game or two, then he would miss a game. He missed the game, and then like he had calf injury, and then like it was just lingering the whole year. He would be questionable, and then he would play, he would suit up, but like the whole week he would be questionable with the calf injury.
The whole season he was questionable. The whole season. Yeah, I remember that. What up to Real Talk? What 805? What's going on, Coach? How you doing? Fire draft today, man. I was watching that stuff with my boy Chris and Severe on there. It was a fire show, bro. And Sal agrees with me. Louis, what's up, man? Welcome to the show again. Membo, Charles Grant will elevate JPJ and Glaze. I think Membo. If Membo's there, I won't be surprised if he gets picked by us. But if Janty's there, I think Janty's gonna go before him. Membo.
I think did Adam Schefter put today? I think he posted that. I mean, this is all could be smoke and mirrors because this is pre-draft shit. So teams are getting their narratives out there, but he's saying that it's likely that the Giants or the Browns don't go with the quarterback at 2 and 3.
Who the Browns gonna go with? Who they got?
Well, they're saying. Well, I seen the mock drafts have a lot. After that was said, I seen mock drafts saying that Cam Ward's still going one of the Titans, and then they have Abdul Carter to the Browns and Travis Hunter to the Giants. So and then after that you have New England and Jacksonville, which they look like they're not going quarterback, for sure. So it's like that leaves the question, with Shador sitting there at 6, with Membao, with Genty, with all of them sitting at 6. does Shador's get taken, man? Because now Shador is falling to 10 to the Saints. People are saying it might fall to 10 to the Saints.
And what do you think about that game? What do we pass him up? What do we pass him up? Did he gonna be a little upset? And we get no, just say we move back. Just say we move back, bro. And that'll be, I know me and you will be pissed if we move back and Genty and Shador is there. We make a trade. We're supposed to pick, but we move back with that team, and it's like, maybe it's Dallas or maybe it is New Orleans or something like that. We get all a bunch of shit for them, and then we end up getting an offensive or will the corner. We're around where those guys need to be, or edge rusher or something like that. Something that we don't even think we're gonna do. Would you be upset if those two guys are there and we backpedal to get more picks?
No, because I think like the other day, like I was talking about, if we're able to, I think the importance of filling a lot of crucial spots on this team and signing of Geno Smith kind of allows you to kind of not be so desperate on quarterback, which I wouldn't. Don't get me wrong, I wouldn't mind one bit, because I still think that we need that for the future. But it gives you a little bit more leeway in still having, gives you a little bit more time in finding that guy. Which, I mean, if the guy's there and he is your guy, take him now. I mean, because that you never want to, like, you might not have this chance again. You know what I mean? So it's like that's the thing. So it's like, especially the way what we're thinking, we don't want to be picking in the top 10, right? That's one thing we can all agree on. We don't want to be picking in the top 10 because that you usually know what that means, that we're a bad team. So if that is your guy, take him at 6. You know what I mean? But if you can move back and move back, like not far into the 20s or whatever like that, then and like maybe the mid-teens or late teens, and still get, positions of need, like we were talking about the other day, like Jihad Campbell or Jalen Walker from Georgia. Like, if you could get some of those guys and still accumulate more picks, like, and even high picks, like an extra second rounder and possibly an extra third rounder, then I'm all for it. Because, like I said the other day, I think in the top 100, that leaves you with, if you're able to get, say, 2 more guys, because if a team's jumping in from the high teens to the top 6, you're going to get a haul of picks. You know what I mean? You're going to get quite an amount of picks if a team's jumping from that far out to try to jump in the top 6, especially if it's a guy that they're really looking at. You know what I mean? So it's like, if you're able to accumulate an extra 2 picks or possibly even 3 in the top 100, then I'm all for it. So I do really think that there's a lot of impact players in the top 100 of the draft this year.
That's a good point, Gabe. You got me saying, well, if we move back, I'm gonna say we're not gonna get the guy that the guy wasn't there that they expected. So, but if Janty's there and Sanders is there, that we're highly attached to, and if we trade back when those 2 guys are there, I'm gonna be saying, hey, we were all wrong. Usually that's the way it is, anyways. That we were all wrong. We said we're gonna get Shador and all that stuff.
Yeah. Unless it's right, we're always gonna look back and say all those moves are wrong. Like, I mean, like, that's just gonna be, that's always just the thing of it. You know what I mean? Unless the guy you hit, like you actually hit, like, you know what I mean? Then that's the only way. I think that goes for like especially your first 2 picks. Yeah. If your first 2 picks hit, then damn, those were good damn picks. But if they're not, like, if they even struggle a little bit in their first 2 years, then they're going to be considered, like, they're already going to be started getting that bad notation on them, that they're a bust, that they're this, you know what I mean? Like, that they're, so it's like those first 2 years, man, are big time for players like that, man, especially if you're a top 2 pick, because that's when you're evaluated at the most, because, like, fans are always just going to look at, damn, you wasted a second round pick and this dude's trash. He had fucking 10 tackles, when they're probably not looking at, You know what I mean? The other stuff of it, like maybe they have a guy playing in front of them that's not giving him a chance because he's balling out or something like that. So it's just like we're not always. I think it's as a fan perspective, you're always going to get the short end of the stick. You're never. Most fans are not going to give the player benefit of doubt ever. Especially if you're picked that high.
Yeah.
So unless you're hit there, they're always going to be considered bust.
Arnie, what is your trust level in offensive line? My trust level is higher than what it was last year. I know we're going to address the running game and running back in this draft, maybe twice. So I'm hoping for that. And if we go out and get Chanty, I'm going to be super duper excited for this offensive line because they're going to be playing behind a quality guy that's going to give them confidence to play. You know, we had a good passing game. Just imagine if we had a good running back that put some confidence in this offensive line, and we would have been banging if we just got it wasn't that the line wasn't blocking. It was just the way the running backs were hitting them holes, and it was so slow. It was so inefficient. The play calling was bad. It was so vanilla, and I was doing this. I do this shit with that what was his name was doing, and then
I think it was just a whole of things though, bro.
It was just a bad game plan. We got better when when the young homie started running the ball a little bit better. Sincere McCormick did better. Madison.
I think when the rookie linemen also got some games under their belts too.
Yeah,
that's when we finally started doing a little bit better too, because you got rookies, just thrown in there. You got guys that weren't on this team the year before thrown in there. The white hairs, the Andres Peets, you know what I mean? You got fucking Colton Miller coming off of fucking shoulder surgery. You know what I mean? So it's like, I just think that the offensive line, and then you pair that up with the way Zeus just cannot run in a zone scheme or just look like he fell off a damn cliff last year. You know what I mean? It's just like when you combine both of those, I think that's why you get the results that we got in the running game. But you've seen once those guys got a little bit of games under their belt, and you've seen somebody that was a little bit more patient, like Sincere, you've seen them being effective. You know what I mean? And now you get somebody like Ashton Genty or somebody like that. I think that they can make this offensive line look good.
Yeah. I'm hearing a lot of that. Matter of fact, what's up? What up, Lo, man? He's saying what's up. He's doing his thing right now. But
man.
The thing I'm hearing about Janty is I'm hearing about this pass protection type stuff. And when you got, what Chip Kelly does is that Chip Kelly is so creative, and what he does with his zone blocking scheme is that he uses play action to defect that. He doesn't really use a lot of backs. That's why you look at Ohio State and you hardly ever seen Henderson and Junkins be out there blocking, and they could blitz anytime they want. We got a good offensive line. That's what you see. Look at Philly. Look at Philly's offensive line. They don't need Saquon Barkley over there fucking blocking for him. Even on 5 to 7 step drops. They don't need Saquon out there. Saquon go doing a route. So your offensive line is in effect and good, you don't have to worry about Janty. All he has to do is just get yards. He can just get in the way of people. But I'm sure. See, the reason why we are so overwhelmed with Janty not be able to block. How do we know that all these other guys know how to do that? We haven't. You learn pass protection in NFL. You don't do it in college. You don't learn. You do. You're in there sometimes blocking, but in the NFL, it's so important that you can do that. But that offense that they run, they use play action to eliminate that. You're gonna blitz on dude doing play action. You're gonna get beat. Your defense is gonna get beat. You're gonna get tore up. So you can blitz all you want, but
I'm just
that's why they got the quick game. The quick game. If you do the quick game with let me say this real quick. What Gino's good at is the quick game. If you know football, you know what the quick game is. That the ball's out of your hands quick, and it eliminates the blitz where you don't have to do that. And that is what Chip Kelly is awesome at, and that it's going to be new to you guys because we've never seen it. We've never seen it before, and I hope that Gino can do that. And that's why, Chip Kelly's probably fucking designing all kinds of playbook, man, right now for that quick game shit because we're going to get blitzed, and we're going to probably get a running back that's not used to being, Mozart probably could do that. But we're getting a guy that not used to doing it. You got to get taught that in the NFL because it's so important. But there's offenses to eliminate that. Just if you guys understand what I mean. Go ahead, bro. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. I was just gonna talk about like the thing with like I just every time I think about it, bro, more and more, it's like I still like there's a lot of other picks that I still would not be mad at or anything like that, but the Austin Gentry, man, is just like I don't care what anybody says. People can say that's too high and this and that or whatever it is, but Austin Gentry to me, man, is worth the number 6 pick. Like if that's the route you're going for, especially if you're going to be a run heavy team and that's going to be your identity, like. Man, like I just don't see like that just makes total sense. It just makes total sense like if they go that route. Like I can't not fault that pick if that's the route that they want. If their identity is going to be to run the ball and you know what I mean, run that like run the ball to kind of open up the explosive plays up top and stuff like that, like what kind of Chip Kelly does, you know what I mean? So it's like I just see that making so much sense, bro. Like this is like something you would like. This is like the piece that you would need for that type of offense.
Yeah,
this is like that piece that you need for that type of offense. You know what I mean? And sometimes we overthink about like, oh, we need this and this, like, but like. When we look at it and we've talked about that, we're kind of like, Pete Carroll loves to run the ball traditionally. He loves to, have a great running back, a smash mouth running back that loves to run the ball. Chip Kelly, same thing. He loves to run the ball. You know what I mean? And when you're overthinking it and you're like, oh, we need all these weapons or we need this and that, like, on the outside, like a lot of people are bringing up the receiver from Arizona like that, you know what I mean? So it's like,
yeah,
I get it. He's good. All of this, right? He's good. But when you're trying to shape your identity to be that smash mouth team and you need this special type of running back or just at least a good running back and one that is special sitting right there for the taking.
Yeah, take it, bro.
A lot of people don't make sense of that. That's what I don't understand.
Yeah, well, what the excuse is that, Gabe, when you look and you really, really look, and people, a lot of people in the chat, I know the chat's not stupid, man. You hear a lot of folks saying, doing mock drafts and all this stuff. Red Nation Live hasn't done a mock draft yet because we're all over the place on who we want. We're all over the place on what we want to get. But I'm pretty sure one's going to come around maybe about a week or two before the draft. I think we're going to start doing that, Gabe. But the whole thing about this running back situation is that, there's a bunch of them. With the Mel Kiper said there's 31 draftable running backs. Okay, but I don't want 15th running back or 6th best running back. I want the best running back, and he could fall in our lap. He could be right there for us to get. So if Gibbs is right there, if Dejan is right there, if Henry's right there, go get the motherfucker. And because it's a drastic need. The Raider Nation need to know how drastic getting a running back at high like that is so important, how important it is, because we were bitching saying that our running backs didn't do shit, and we had 4 of them, bro. We had 4 of them that couldn't do nothing, and then finally we got a little spark with Sincere McCormick, and then all the publicity about the CMC 2.0 guy, and he didn't do shit. So now we have an opportunity to get the third best player in the draft by everybody. Top 5 player in the draft by every draft. You can't say all these guys are talking shit or want clickbait because everyone is saying Genty to the Raiders, and I think it's a best move. He's gonna be productive. He has to be productive. He's better than all the motherfuckers we have. So even with Mostert, even with that veteran, he's better than that. So I expect a lot from this dude. The only thing that's gonna hold him back is if he gets injured. That's it. And we ain't gonna pound him like Boise State did unless he starts kicking ass. But the dudes run after contact, bro. I've never seen that yardage before any running back has ever done. Okay? he got 1,000. He had 2,000 yards rushing. 1,000 of those yards were after contact. He's getting hit, and then he's gaining yards after 1,000 yards. So he rushed what most people can't do after he gets hit. Then anybody ever. Nobody's ever had more yards than that.
After contact,
yes,
people had
total
total
in season. So I'm like, what could not be so, right there, glowing in your face, not to get the dude. The only reason that they wouldn't do that is that they got an interior guy. Gabe, the interior, both sides need to get addressed. But I don't know if it would be too high to get a linebacker at that point, but. If we go down and we don't get Genty, there's capable running backs there. But if you get a running back, since there's so much, I'm hearing all these content creators that are doing mock drafts. That's why we kind of tend back to I could do my personal mock draft on my phone when I'm at work. You know what I mean? But on a show where it's visible and people are gonna say, nah, you're not doing it right. But it doesn't matter. All these guys are saying that there's plenty of running backs that get in the 3rd and 4th round. Yes, there is. One out of those 31 guys are gonna be, Gibbs or Bejan or Jonty or any of these other dudes. You pick a guy in the 4th round. You're gonna get a 4th round guy, bro. You're gonna get a 3rd round guy. That's why they're positioned the way they are. It ain't because there are a bunch of them. Otherwise, you would have a bunch of running backs going in the 1st round. If there's a running back there, and you don't need a running back, I guarantee you a team's gonna pick them because the running game is so important in the NFL.
It's like, and everybody wants to equate him to a regular people want to compare him to. Like a usual 2nd, 3rd round running back where those guys don't have that much fucking shelf life in the league. But the way I'm thinking of him, the way that people are talking about him, the way what I've seen out of him, he reminds me of guys that have played in the league for 10 years, 15 years. And we want to compare him to a running back that's only played a year or two and then got hurt or something like that. Like, I don't see people want to quit. Oh, he got overworked in college and all that stuff. Like, because he's doing the
best player of the
job,
team.
Bro.
He was the best player of the team. And what are you going to do with your best player on the team? You're going to give him the ball, right?
It's
give him the ball.
You see special guys, and that's what I look at him as a special type of running back.
Yeah.
And you see the special running backs do it for years. You see Derrick Henry doing it for years. You see Saquon Barkley. Yeah, he's been hurt here and there, but he's already his 5th, 6th year, 7th year in the league. He's still doing it. Josh Jacobs, his 5th, 6th year in the league. He's still doing it. You know what I mean? You got running backs that are been doing it for 6, 7 years, but they want to talk like Genty can't do it for 3 because he got overworked in college. Like, come on, guys. Like, this guy is not just a middle of the pack type running back that you're talking about.
Yeah,
he's not.
We can't say we're gonna take care of that position, getting a dude in the 3rd or 4th round. That's gonna be your Zeus. That's what Zeus was. So we got a guy that does shit that hasn't been done ever in college. Hasn't been done ever in college. So Why not? Why ain't this guy special to some people? I don't know.
I don't understand that. I don't understand that with him. Like,
yeah,
maybe because we want to pick him and they don't want him as that, but I know they can't believe that Genty's not special, bro. They can't. Like, a dude don't get 2,500 rushing yards, bro. Like, you know how hard that is in 12, 13 games? You know how hard that? I don't give a fuck what league you. I don't care if you're playing. You're 12 years old and you're playing against a bunch of 8 years old. You're not. It's fucking hard to get 2,500 rushing yards.
Exactly. So if you guys think you're different, maybe we can ease the pain that this is probably going to happen, because and it'll be. I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't get him, Gabe, but we need to do something. We better get somebody better. You know,
I've seen college dudes that every time they touch. I mean, I've seen high school dudes that every time they touch the ball, they almost score, and they don't get 2,000 yards rushing in a high school fucking season, bro. Like, it's like it is damn near impossible to do that, bro. Damn near impossible to get that many yards.
Yeah, I heard what Spike Take said. Did you hear what Spike Take's kid said to him?
Yeah,
you know how
he's gonna
it
move
could be
out
a pump up. It could be a pump up, but
he's smoking mirrors like All Eyes was saying earlier. Can it be something that he's hyping up? You know, Genty, just so like another team could maybe jump on it or something like that. But I don't know, man. If we do take Genty, we don't take Genty. I just don't see why downplay the dude, because that dude is fucking special, bro.
I don't know. You can't bring up, pass protection. What other excuses? There are a bunch of guys that don't. Every college player, unless you play in a pro office, I don't see a lot of them that are, a running back is not needed to pass block in college. That's why they don't do it. So you can't tell me that a rookie's going to come in and know how to pass block, because he's going to learn how to do that in the NFL. It's not as important.
I definitely think there's other good running backs. Yeah, I definitely think like Omarion Hampton. I definitely think those guys are good young running backs, but
they're not Genty
for a reason.
Hampton's a first round pick. I think he's the first round pick, and then the guys from Ohio State are lower picks. But you're gonna see that where they belong, But you cannot tell me that we can. You cannot tell me that we could not pick Genty if he's there at 6 with a position that we need drastically, because we were last place. We got to think of this. We were the last place running team in the NFL. And there's somebody there to pick that could change that. That could change that. And it wasn't our offensive line. We blamed the offensive line all the time because the running back sucked. But that's not the way to look at it.
The other thing that Genty does is he finds the fucking end zone, dog. 30 touchdowns.
Yeah, never had that, bro. One of the young players that be plugged in right away. They're looking at that like it ain't 2,000 and something yards, 30 touchdowns. He ran the ball 400 times, didn't get hurt.
And they want to make it seem like he's playing like he's playing fucking like Division 2 schools or something. Yeah. Just because they play in the, they play in the what is it, the MAC conference or whatever it is, like it doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that they're not a Division 1 school. It doesn't mean that they didn't go up against Oregon and he rushed for 200 yards still, the number 1 team in the nation. You know what I mean? So it's like I don't Ashton is that dude, bro. Like, that's why I'm saying, like, and as much as I'm fucking, arguing for the dude right now, I still wouldn't be mad if we don't pick him and we're able to get another player that's we're needed too. It's like it's still not gonna make me crash out for the dude. You know what I mean? But but the thing is that, like, I just don't get where the hate is for him, like, or the like the dislike for him, like that he's at 6, like you're out of the top 5, and it's like it's unheard of that like a running back has never been taken in the top 10 or something.
That's the guy that I want to get. Me personally, you guys bang on me or whatever. He does an unsuccessful season, but we need a running back, and I don't want to wait till I don't want to drop down to get a running back. And then Mason Graham's there. I'm still gonna want Janty. T Mac is there. I'm still gonna want Janty because that's the
Exactly,
biggest.
Joel. We took Tyree at 7. Come on.
Yeah,
like
that's
we can't take Ashton at 6.
That's exactly what we need. We took yeah.
Dodgers win.
Nah.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that's the end of the show.
In the 9th inning, walk off, baby.
Who
Still stay undefeated.
We're gonna get beat tomorrow.
We were losing 5-0 too in the first inning, and they came back to win 6-5.
Who they play?
The Braves.
You guys ain't gonna beat the Padres. Padres gonna whoop you.
We'll see. We'll see. That's gonna be our fucking damn Dodgers win.
And Luis, I want a running back too because I will pair him up with Brock Bowers, and I want to see top 5 offensive line. I'm gonna keep complaining until we get it, and I'm gonna be right with you, Luis. I'm gonna be right with you.
People that want
right behind you.
Like right here, where did I say that? Something says right here. Like, Al, I agree a little bit with that. Like, I think a lot of them are younger. But I think a lot of them that are not the younger ones, that are the older ones that are kind of talking shit about Genty, are the ones that listen to the narratives of ESPN and all of that shit too damn much, bro. The narratives that the fucking that the running back is this and that and that they shouldn't be doing like I think they take certain narratives and then they run with them too much. Like they just run with like that. I think they just hear sporadically news and they think that they go along with the running back is so devalued that they're not worth this that. Like I just think that it's like they don't look at the needs of the team, the type of like what we're looking at, what historically has how Pete has ran his teams, how Chip Kelly has, run his offenses. Like, we don't look at that and then we say, oh, that's a perfect fit. You know what I mean? Because he fits in Pete's fucking, mindset for his offense, and he fits in Chip Kelly's scheme for his offense. Like, we don't look at that. We look more at how it's gonna look, or you don't take no running back in the top 10, like because these networks are saying it, or because these other people are saying it. Like, you wanna go along with that, which you're not. I don't think you're doing yourself a disservice, not because you're making yourself, I think, look a little too naive when you're just following narratives and not looking at what's needed for this team.
What up, Lou? What up, Al Apocalypse? What's up, man? Jimmy Montez, what's up? Europe has another one. Europe, I hear you. When we go 18 games, they'll try to change their mind. I think the running back position is gonna be on the come up, bro, and it's gonna be because of this guy. Because we're already seeing it with Bijan, we're already seeing it with Gibbs, how important these guys are. They're gonna get paid a grip of money, and when they're coming to their contracts, and then running backs are gonna be respectable again. And then it's gonna start with this dude right here that we picked at 6, and I'm hoping that we do. I might be wrong, but the narrative of that the running back, you could get any running back anytime, anywhere. It doesn't happen because we didn't concentrate on this position and finally get somebody that is an asset in that position. We're gonna be in the same boat. Like we're just in the norm of being 32nd in the league in rushing, bro. You're gonna be. This is. We say it's a passing league. It's a passing league. But if you throw good, that means you run good, Gabe. You know what I mean? You're not a winning team if you cannot run the football. Show me a team that did. Show me a team that didn't run the football and was in the playoffs.
I mean, I could.
It's the Brent Favre days, all those Brent Favre days and the gunslingers and all that. That was a different time in football. I'm saying right now, you need to run the football.
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. No, yeah, exactly. To the case in point is Philadelphia.
Yep. Look what they did.
They broke that, like they literally shattered that mode last year. Like they literally shattered that narrative of running back wasn't important. because yeah, you could say, oh, that's Saquon Barkley, but the narrative around Saquon Barkley before that was he couldn't stay healthy.
Stayed healthy 1 year. Look what he did.
You know what I mean? So it's like, and you see that, like, and people can say, oh, that is Saquon, that's different or whatever. He was the second overall pick, but and you see their college careers, and you see Genty had a better college career. So it's like I don't understand why. Like, what the hell is the problem with that shit? Like, it's like I think that right there showed you that if you get a running back that can be effective and like that, bro, like it's you can do a lot of things in this fucking league. You've seen Jalen Hurts even, the talk about him go up even in the playoffs because it was so easy for him, bro. It was so easy for him when guys were running 8 in the box and he was and Saquon still was being successful. When you're still being successful and guys are 8 in the box, you know how hard it is to defend on the outsides?
He's a perimeter guy too. He can get out there. Quarterbacks do all the running days, but I don't think Pete wants. I'm not a guy that wants my quarter. I don't want to put design running plays and have my guy running around like Lamar. Like for the last couple of years, the dude was injured before he went into the playoffs, and then he wasn't shit after that. That's why he doesn't win. They need to cut back on that. Quarterbacks are going to get blasted and killed out there because they're having design running plays. And then, Allen, he ain't going to last that long if he keeps doing the shit he does. Lamar Jackson already stepped back off it. But Allen's with that. He want to bang with you, and he ain't going to last that long in the league if that happens. But I don't want my quarterback doing that.
I wonder if it's just because we're picking at 6. If we were picking at 10, and I'm asking the chat, if we were picking at 10, would it still be a reach? It's only 4 spots back, but if we were picking at 10, would it be a reach to pick Genty at 10?
Oh, everybody says they'll be cool with it. Everybody, I know that. Well, we back. We can back one spot. We'll be okay, cool. It's good. It's not a reach. It's just it's just because people want other people, bro. People want to get it. They're not looking at. We need a defensive tackle, and there probably will be one there.
I don't know, like I just think if like all I said, if that's your guy, you go get him, no matter what the pick is, bro. You know what I mean? If that's your guy and you feel like that's gonna be the best thing for your offense, the best thing for the identity of your team, if that's what you're trying. That's what the type of that's what you're trying to set, for your team, for your locker room, whatever, like that type of shit. Like I don't see how you don't take them. I just see how you don't take them. Like I just, it's just, I don't know, man. It's gonna be a good one though, man. That's all I know.
Raider Pete ain't a Genty guy. Hey, if we go back and we still get Genty, that'll be fine with me. But you know what? Genty and Shador's right there. That I don't understand that he's projected to be top 6, and he's mocked to us everywhere. But me and Gabe been saying this dude is special.
You know what would be the best scenario, Gravy? Wait, just one thing before that. The best scenario is if the Saints are really, really fucking like serious on taking Shador, and they trade up with us at 6 because they're like at 10 or something like that, and they take Shador, and then we're still in front of Dallas, and we're still able to take Genty at 6 and accumulate picks.
Well, what if they Dallas wants to trade us to get Genty at 10 and give us another first down, give us 13?
I think at that point, though, I think at that point you take, if you already accumulated maybe a pick or 2 in the top 100 by trading back with like the Saints or something like that. I'm just saying scenario, right? If you already trade, I think you just take Genty at that point.
Hey, what if this is some crazy shit? They go, okay, we'll give you 10. We'll trade up with you 10. We'll give you 10, our second, and fucking Mr. Derek Carr. What the who would you do? Raider Nation be flipping.
That'd be crazy though. Like if the Saints are really interested, that could be a scenario, bro, where draft day, if the Saints are really interested in Shador and the Raiders are there at 6, with Shador on the table and Genty, and you see the Saints are still ahead of Dallas at 12. You still have your chance to pick Genty at 10 and maybe accumulate more picks. That could be a dream scenario right there, bro.
I think Dallas gave up a second rounder for that fucking Trey Lance or something. They don't even got a second round pick. They'll take their whole damn draft.
I can see the Saints for sure. I thought you said you can't see the Saints or the Cowboys trading up for Shador. I don't know about the Cowboys, but I can see the Saints for sure trading up for Shador.
The Cowboys want Genty. Or they'll settle with them other guys, but they need a running back bad. They don't have a running game at all. Shit, they had fucking what's his name out there? Fucking Ewok. What's his name?
That would be a dream scenario, to be honest, bro. I just thought of that shit right now too, because
that just might happen, man.
I do see mock drafts now saying that the Saints, might be looking at Shador and this and that. So it's like, if they want to jump up to 6 and get him, bro, because they feel like the Raiders might take him.
I'll take all that shit. I'll take all that shit right there, bro. I'll take your first, second, and those 2/3 real quick to move up. If you want that dude that bad. That would
be fucking awesome, bro. That could be a great situation for us. That could probably be a great situation because I still think we could go out and get Genty, fuck the Cowboys, pause, in the meanwhile, and accumulate more picks. Everything that we want.
That would be a little scenario. What if that happens?
Everybody will get a little bit happy on that one. Everybody will get a little bit happy. They didn't take Genty at 6. They got an extra pick. They moved back, and they fucking, you know what I mean? Like, they didn't take Shador because a lot of people don't want Shador either. So it's like you could make a lot of people happy. That's a dream scenario type shit.
We trade. We get more picks. We get 2 picks from the Saints, and we get their first and another pick, and probably another, and then we end up still getting Genty. That'll be dope over Dallas. Because I don't want to give Dallas shit. I want to make Dallas better.
I think that could be good. That could be a very possible scenario, to be honest, to me. Like, that seems very not likely. I'm not going to say likely because nothing's likely in the draft. Because there's always 2 teams and a lot of moving parts in any trade. But I definitely see it as a possibility. Make at least a phone call or 2, because of that shit. Especially if Shador's sitting there at 6.
The Cowboys ain't got no money, bro. They ain't got shit. I can't see them making it past 9 either, bro. We're at 10. Who's ahead of 10, bro? I don't know. I don't have it in front of me.
So after that, the trade was 6. I know the Saints are at 10. I think the Bears might be there. Let me see. Top 10 draft.
The Bears need a lot of shit too. Oh, they got a bunch of free agents though. Again,
it is the Jets after us, Carolina. Oh no, New Orleans is 9. So we could get them at 9.
3 spots up. We probably won't get those thirds.
You get it. You'll get a second rounder, bro. You'll get a second rounder or something. Yeah. Because to jump up, it's always going to cost something.
Yeah, it is.
Especially if they go get their guy.
Yeah, they'll be best off having Shador there at New Orleans.
You see the Jets, New Orleans trades up. Carolina took that guy, Jonathan Brooks, last year in the 2nd round.
Mm-hmm.
He was hurt last year, so I think that they're still waiting to see what they got out of him. Which I'm not saying that would like. I just think that they probably would go a different route. You know what I mean? Carolina, if they have to go with, I think they need other pieces too. You know what I mean? Carolina, and then the Jets have fucking what's the name, Hall.
They ain't get rid of Hall, bro. Hall's dope.
So it's like like I just think that running back, I think Genty, that's like the same. I think he will still be sitting there at 9 for you. Like if the Raiders want to get him at 6 or 9. I think that would be like, I think that scenario is still very possible at 9. Like after that, then you got like iffy because I could see the Giants. I mean, I could see the Bears maybe having interest in him. Maybe, especially the Cowboys at 12 and shit like that. But at 9, And I just hopefully that could be a hopefully that could be a situation that we can get ourselves into.
That's what we're talking about right now, Joe. That's what we're talking about right now. If he was there, we were talking about that scenario right now, and we said we would be down for it to move back. Not far, but
Not far.
not a couple picks. Not to the teens. I don't think we're not gonna get the player we want, but we go like to 9, 10 right there. I think that's a perfect. I think that'll be perfect for us.
That's the risk, Vincent. That's the risk, Vincent, that you have to take.
Yeah.
If the Cowboys jump up ahead of us, if we do trade down and the Cowboys jump ahead of us, that's just the risk we have to be willing to take, bro. Like that, like they obviously have to have a contingency plan because there's still other damn good players. Like you say, like there's not. I know Genty is probably the best running back. There is other good running backs. So you go look at the best other available position. Maybe that's a linebacker or maybe somebody slips and that's maybe fucking corner from Michigan sitting there at 10 or at 9 or something like that, and you could get him or with Johnson or I don't think Mason Grant will be there at 9, but who knows? Maybe he slips and falls and goes to 9. You know what I mean? So it's like I think there's still a lot of other scenarios like opposite, but like I think that's the risk. That's the risk, bro. Like if we trade down to 9 and the Cowboys happen to jump up ahead of us after that and take Genty, then that's just a bullet we have to, bite down on. That's it. And take the next best player available. Yeah, Money Chuck. That's the reason why I think we can't go further than the Saints. We can't drop further back than the Saints if Genty's our guy.
And they have the 10th pick. Then we would get to 9. And we're talking about this shit. Why don't we just get them at 6? Just get them at 6.
No, yeah, of course. If you get them at 6, if there's no calls, of course, you just take them at 6 if that is your guy. But if you have the possibility of doing that, bro, I just see where the two teams behind you, I don't see them taking running backs.
Nah.
So it could be a very possibility where you could still land your guy and then an extra pick.
Oh, we're in a situation where that team, we're in that position where you think that he is the best player available, then it might be both ways with us. He might be the best player available that on our board is Genty. So we can't get mad at that.
Yeah. No, that's just the shit that you have to risk. That's the risk that you have to take.
Yeah.
Willing to take for an extra pick. If not, just take him at 6. If you are really worried that a team, if Genty's there at 6 and you're worried a team is going to jump, at 7 or 8 in front of you at 9, if you trade back, then you just take him at 6. Don't even mess around with it and just take him at 6. But if you are confident or you're willing to take that risk and it works out, bro, that shit is a dream scenario.
What if Genty's gone?
That's what I'm saying. That's why, if Genty's gone at 6, then yeah.
I don't know why these people are just tanking for Art Manning. The dude's a sophomore, bro. He's gonna be a junior, and he says he's gonna get a degree. So I don't know what you guys. Next year, he's not even gonna be out next year. I think it's 27, 28 when he comes out. He was a sophomore this year. He didn't even start. Why do we want Art Manning? he only played 2 games. Couldn't even beat out Quinn Ewers. Ewers, what his name is.
Ewers.
Yeah.
That's what I saw.
If he was so good, if he was, I don't. And this is the shit I want to stop the Raider Nation from doing. Is that let's fucking wait for fucking Art Manning, because if you want to be at the position to go get Art Manning, then you're fucking loser. You're losing.
Art Manning is now I think that's the biggest hype since what's his name? Andrew Luck, bro. And no, after Andrew Luck was Trevor Lawrence. And look at what Trevor Lawrence became. Trevor Lawrence was getting all that hype that he was the next sure thing and next this and next that. You know what I mean? And it's like, and at least Trevor Lawrence at least was starting 3 years and balling out in college. Yeah. We haven't seen shit out of Archie. and he's getting all this praise.
He's gonna be a junior, and he only played 2 games. Couldn't beat out the senior over there that transferred. So I don't know. I don't want to wait for that dude. I don't want him on my team.
And I don't want to talk shit about him because I haven't seen him play. I don't want to talk shit about him saying that he sucks. I'm not going to say he sucks. I'm not going to say that. The only thing I'm saying is that I haven't seen him play to say he sucks or he doesn't. You know what I mean? So like, maybe it's college highlights. I've seen some of that shit where, obviously he was good, but most of those guys that are getting first fucking, Division I top, Power 5 school fucking, full rides are mostly like that in high school.
Bro, he ain't Andrew Luck because Andrew Luck started when he was a sophomore. What's his name that you mentioned from Jacksonville? He started as a freshman.
As a freshman. You know what I mean?
So did Andrew Luck started as a freshman also, and they made shit happen in college. This dude ain't done shit yet. Saying, like, all because of Manning. He balls out.
You can give me all the hype you want. You can give me all the hype you want, but until he puts it on the field, or like if last year he would have breed out Quinn Ewers and you know what I mean, or even during the season, like, okay, Archie Manning is just undeniable. He's just too good that we have to start him. You know what I mean? Like, then I don't want to hear all this like fucking just, he could be this good. He could be the next this. He could be
Tank for Arch Manning. Tank for already, dude. He's a fucking sophomore. Tank from 2 years. I don't want to pick that high to get this fool. Our quarterback should be stable by then. We'd be rolling with Geno. Geno get a second contract. Fuck it. Let's go. Let's do that. We got to roll with Geno.
And again, I'm not talking shit about Archie. I just need to see it first, man, before we start talking about anything about tanking for a guy.
Just like what Raider Nation said. Just saying, if that's your mindset, already, then you just want to lose. You were probably tank for Shador type bullshit. We had the number 1 pick. You had the number 1 pick. We had it. So we could have Shador Sanders would have been a number 1 pick. Bullshit. I would have rather have got fucking Trevor or fucking the Carter kid. That's what we would be talking about if we had the number 1 pick. It wouldn't be Shador Sanders.
He could very well be that guy. He could very well be his fucking uncle or whatever like that. But until I see it, then damn, man, like shit, beat out the guy in front of you first, and then we could start talking about fucking even picking you, let alone tank for somebody.
21 days till draft. Location, dates, and TV schedule probably out on Mother's Day. When is Mother's Day? Mother's Day coming up?
No, isn't Mother's Day in May? Oh, you're talking about the schedule for the year? Yeah. Schedule day on Mother's Day. Yeah. In May, because the schedule.
Oh,
schedule
does come out in May. Yeah, because I'm gonna find out.
For some reason, I thought he was talking about the TV schedule for the draft. I was
like, what? Draft on Mother's Day. I said, man, I have to go get some shit. Man.
No,
but anyways, Gabe. You want to call it? Or you still want to?
Yeah, man. We got 2 hours and 7 minutes for sure, man. We're gonna be back for sure on Sunday. I know Lo should be here on Sunday. I think he said he's gonna try to make it on Sunday too. He's been held up a little bit, doing some stuff, but he should be here on Sunday too. But we're gonna be here on Sunday, man, talking some more shit. Hopefully we get some other news, try to break down maybe some more guys, some more, maybe some will be I'll for sure I'll do the next couple of days. I'll try to like look into some other colleges, so we won't talk about Genty or the same guys. Or I'll have some other guys. Maybe we could possibly look at maybe in the second round. Just see if we could do that. You know what I mean? So we can, because I think we're all in agreement with some of the guys that we want to pick at 6. You know what I mean? Like, I know we're not dead set on one guy, but I know most of the guys. So hopefully on Sunday we'll talk about a little bit more guys, because we do have a lot of picks. So, we can't just be talking about who we're going to take at 6. You know what I mean? So
exactly.
We'll try to break down a little bit more, try to have a little bit more in depth with all of these guys, you know what I mean? Because for sure, man, and then we're close, man. 21 days, like you said, 21 days away. So
21 days away, bro. That's going to come quick. This month is going to go by quick. The weather's starting to get nice. Get your war rooms ready, and then expect Raider Nation Live to have an in-depth draft and we're gonna start doing it. Like, you know, we're not gonna play you out with drafts. We're gonna get a good one, and we're gonna get some with the chat will be involved, or me, Gabe, and Lo. We're gonna pick our dudes and have one separately. But it's gonna be a show like that, and you know, Gabe was real good on. I remember last year, Gabe was real hard on JPJ, and then we ended up getting him early, like he said.
Yeah.
I was more getting him later because he had injury issues, and then I thought we were gonna keep, you know, our center, and then what was he gonna play?
Yeah,
but we got him. We got him. Gabe was on him from the get go, man. Second rounder, he was there from the get go. He picked them all in mock draft. And he pumped them up.
I was always talking shit about Andre James, bro. So I was like, damn, we need a center like this, man. We need a center like that. That was one thing I was like, he's the best center in college, bro. Like I was happy. That was probably my, like, at the time of the draft, that was probably like my favorite pick of the draft. Like obviously, you know, Bowers did what he did, and shit, Bowers for damn sure, like on top of my list.
I was surprised with Bowers. But I was happy. I was happy with that dude, and I was happy with JPJ, and I was happy with Glaze too. So
yeah, but yeah, man. Hopefully,
what you think about that, bro? I was all excited to hit the Napa, go drink that nice wine.
Yeah, for reals, man. But I mean, at least Henderson. I know Napa would have been cool because I wanted to go. You know, Napa, get that little nostalgia feeling, you know what I mean? Back when, you know, when the Raiders were in Napa, and then, you know, fucking wine testing, it's nice out there, you know what I mean? So it would have been nice, but I mean, Henderson is closer, so I mean, I know I can make the trip out there if I need to, you know what I mean? Go check out some training camp if I have to, you know what I mean? It's only 2.5 hour, 3 hour drive for me, so it's like I can make that shit, you know what I mean? So Henderson's another thing, you know what I mean? I mean, Napa's another thing. I would have to take a flight out there, but yeah, man. I mean, it's unfortunate, but because that would have been nice. But I mean, shit, it's training camp. As long as they get to work, that's all I really want. Yeah, shit, as long as they get to work and make that shit count, make training camp count, man. That's all that really matters. So,
I know we haven't heard much about it. I just like 2 minutes. Are we gonna have like an interaction with another team? I thought that was really important that we didn't do that. I started thinking about it, and I agreed with AP not doing it because AP thought our defense was going to be the best. You know what I mean? And we were in the notion that we were going to be a top 3, top 5 defense, and the offense, it kind of backfired on him. It kind of backfired on him when he did, but I think that if we have an interaction with another team, maybe that'll benefit us a little bit better.
You know why I think AP thought we were gonna be a top 10 defense, because he was like, "Damn, man, this defense doesn't allow a completion in practice with AOC and Minshew." So he probably was like, "Damn, these are gonna be badass."
And Tyree Wilson's coming. Tyree Wilson's coming.
Minshew and fucking and AOC were,
yeah,
to say the least.
Well, Gabe, I don't know what you're doing tomorrow, but tomorrow, 10 o'clock, I'm gonna be having a morning show, Raider Nation Live morning show with Coach Gravy. So I'll send a shout out to you. Maybe I'm just gonna do a little rant. So maybe if you know, if you could join, it'll be cool, bro. Then and if anybody else, just remember at 10 o'clock, I'll put it in there. You guys will see it on Raider Nation Live post. So thank you, everybody, for being here. You guys had some great info for us, some great comments, and a bunch of shout outs. So on behalf of me and Gabe, man, I want to say peace out, Raider Nation. Don't drink and drive, and don't do any bad shit. Just be close to your family. Call your mama, blow her a kiss over the phone and stuff. But you know what we do, man, always, Gabe. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Raiders.
Let's go, man.
There we go, yeah.
Yeah, man. Raider Nation Live, baby. Follow.